Welcome, welcome everybody to this week's episode of Cafecito. Hope you are
Yeah,
enjoying your little cup of cafecito or té or take a little break. Can can you hear me?
yeah, you went out for 2 seconds, but I hear you loud and clear now, Sandra.
Perfect.
Okay.
Um, so again, just to repeat that. Welcome everybody to our cafecito today. I'm with Griselda. For those of you that don't know, my name is Sandra Noemi Torres, and we have Griselda, one of our members here. We're going to be talking about mindset matters and growth versus fixed mindset, and kind of break that down. So this is exciting. Welcome, Griselda.
Thank you so much, Sandra. It's my pleasure to be here with you on Valentine's Day of all days. So happy
On
Valentine's Day to
Valentine's
you and
Day.
everybody out there.
Yay, yay. It's the day of love, a day
The
of love.
day of
And
love.
hmm so give us a little bit of quick background on you real quick before we get going into the topic itself. Give us a little bit
Sure,
of who Griselda
sure,
is.
absolutely. So I'm an engineer by degree, and I have launched my own company related to industrial engineering. So I help companies optimize their profits, but I also do coaching. So I love that part of my excellence coaching, I call it. It's just helping people find their true passion in life and really tap into what that is and turning it into something that could be profitable for them, right? And it's just doing what you love and getting rewarded for it, the personal satisfaction and obviously financial reward as well. But I left my job to do that full time. So this is my first year, full year, that I'm going to be a consultant and a coach. I'm loving it already. I get to meet amazing people like yourself and all of our United Latinas friends. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm launching my own business as an entrepreneur and ready to get out there.
I love it. I love it. You said something that really is important. Helping people find their passion, which people struggle with that, right? Especially
Yes.
when we're so inundated with information and we're so multi passionate about things, right?
Right.
So people struggle with pinpointing, well, what is that one thing I want to be known for? So let's touch on that before we go into the growth mindset thing.
Sure.
Is how
Mhm.
do we how do we find, or how do you help people even like pinpoint that thing that they are most passionate about?
That is a great question, and I'll tell you why from a recent experience. So, just last year, I told you I'm no longer with corporate America, right? I was an
Yep.
executive in corporate America for almost 3 decades, a very long time. So, I learned a lot. But I was thinking, am I truly happy with what I'm doing? I love my job, no doubt. I love what I was doing. I was traveling the world. But as I was going through and reflecting on what I was doing, I love connecting with people. I love reaching out and helping other women, mentoring other women. And so that really satisfied me, right? It gave me this intense personal satisfaction. So I exited my job. I had to get surgery in my arm. So I did that. I wrote a book during that time. But afterwards, I was reflecting as I was writing the book and healing through my recovery. And I'm like, do I really want to get back into, call it a rat race, call it the job, basically, right?
Mhm.
Traveling again, working in and out of offices and boardrooms. It was fun while I did it, but I reflected and I'm like, I was interviewing, and as I was interviewing and I started getting some offers, I was like, I turned the first one down. I'm like, okay, maybe my heart says no.
Yeah.
And then I was still doing my business, setting up my coaching business. And then I got another interview, another offer. After I turned down the third one, I'm like, okay, that's my calling. I don't want to go back. I want to impact people's lives. I want to make sure that I'm helping them find their passion. I want to make sure that whatever I've learned, right, as an engineer, as an executive in tech, as a Stanford graduate, whatever part of life people are in, I think we collectively can help them find that passion and really dive right into what they love doing and then maybe even get paid for it. And it's amazing what can happen, Sandra. I think you're a good testament of that, right? Once you launch your business and you help others grow and find their passion, so my message is find it in your heart. Your heart will speak to you, right? If that is not the path that you are meant to be, switch and try it and dip your toe, and you'll find that it's a very, very rewarding and satisfying activity.
Yeah, right. We live in a world where like you can have a passion and you can make money with your passion. I mean, there are people all over social media for doing things that you'd be like, wow, I would never think that, but because and I think that that goes to the mindset part that we're going to dive into. When somebody believes strongly about a mission or they're passionate about a topic, regardless whether we think the specific topic is a mainstream topic or relevant or
Yeah.
not, if they will call and draw to themselves the audiences that
Right.
resonate with that message. So being and speaking what it is that we really enjoy out of life, right? Because life is for what else other than to express the ness and the energy and the joy that we have and the things that interest us most, um,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and turn
Hmm.
it into business somehow.
Yep.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Hmm.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk about growth versus fixed mindset. And some people know what that means. Some people don't know what that means. Let's dive into what is a growth mindset and what is a fixed mindset and where we want to play, you know?
Sure, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So just mindset in general, what that is, right? It's really a set of beliefs and self-perceptions that shape how we outlook on life, our mental attitude, and our behaviors, right? That's really the overall essence of mindset. We all, we all have seen and read that before.
Hmm.
But there's a book by Stanford professor Carol Dweck, and it's called Mindset, and she talks about the growth and a fixed mindset. And it's near and dear to my heart because I've gone through that in many experiences in my life. But a growth mindset would be someone who thinks failure is an opportunity to grow. I didn't make it that first time, but I got up, I went at it again, and here I am, right? Two or three, sometimes five times later, but you grow and you learn. At every failure, is you're learning something new and you become a much, much stronger person, right? That is a mentality of a growth mindset focused person, right? Now, a fixed mindset, and it's not that it's a bad thing, it's just different, but it's the belief of failure is the limit of my abilities. If I failed at something, means that I was not meant to go do that, right? And so that's the difference between this a fixed set and abilities and innate capabilities that we each have. A growth mindset is I can learn to do anything and everything, right? And so that's the difference. And so at least for me, the growth mindset really resonates because, like yourself and many others on the call, we've been through some type of adversity, something, right? Whether it's a divorce, sometimes loss of a child, whether it's getting fired from a job, a bad review. There's many things in life that will wear you down, that will bring you down emotionally, and it's really up to us in our thinking to make the best out of that challenging situation, right? It's going to happen in life, right? Our parents are going to pass. Unfortunately, I said goodbye to my daddy, 5 years ago to cancer. But things like that are going to happen in life, right? And
Yep.
many of us like to be in control of every situation. Sometimes there's no control. Sometimes you just can't control, if it's a cancer situation, you can hold and pray together and hope for those last moments to be very memorable, but you won't have control. So really
Yeah.
growth mindset is focusing on what is challenging me today and what am I going to get out of that growth? How do I grow? How do I overcome it? And how do I make myself a stronger person out of that situation? That's really what growth mindset is all about.
I love the way that you explained that because it was just so beautifully and it flowed so perfectly.
Mhm.
Because most people feel like when a challenge comes that like it is the end all be all or this is the limit, I
Mhm.
can't do it and I keep getting up and I keep falling. But I mean that's the growth mindset is we have
Mhm.
those two options, right? We have the option to take life and say, hey, I need to be in
Yeah.
control of everything, which we all know we can't be,
Nope.
right? Because
Mm-mm.
we it's just not real. Because then
Mhm.
we're going to go down a separate path that's very like maybe a scary and dangerous path of you
Right.
know but when you embrace that growth mindset that what challenges are going to come,
Yes.
and it's how I take them and make, and I love how you said make the best of that situation or reroute, readjust. Like we need to look internally to us and say, okay, what is within my control now? What can I do to help this situation or to even help
Yeah.
myself deal with that situation
Absolutely. Absolutely.
versus, uh, ya, todo se fue, like
Well, that's right.
yeah. And
Mhm.
don't get me wrong, we get into those ebbs and flows, right? There's
Yep.
life where you're like, okay, I'm surfing that wave of stuff, and
Yep.
then sometimes a veces life hits you with something hard, and you're like, okay, I'm wallowing in the shallow end for a little bit, and I'm a
Yep.
little sad and miserable because we understand that that's the human experience, right?
Mhm.
Um, so people don't beat yourself up if you're in the low, but it's knowing,
Right.
hey, how do I plan to get myself back to where I know I need to be?
Yeah, it's about embracing that resilience, right? You are going to be a stronger person out of whatever situation, but it's
Yeah.
what is it that you do after that, right? How do you use the power of what you went through, which is an emotional distress, absolutely, in many of these situations, but using the power of your mind to really focus on the go forward and said, okay, I went through that. And if I
Yeah.
made it through that, what else can I do, right? And
Yeah.
so after a series of those, Sandra, as you well know, right, you become a really strong person, and hopefully there's also a way that you pay it forward and you help others and you inspire others to do the same, right? So
Yeah.
that embracing of resilience is really what defines my life, right? I can tell you stories about, all three of my children were a little bit of a struggle, but sometimes they get branded, and I want to tell you a little bit about that. So
Yeah.
for example, in the growth mindset and in embracing resilience, right, I remember when I had my third child, my son, um, he came to us and branded failure to thrive. And I'm like, what is that? Right. So the notion of, the doctor's already calling him he's a baby, he's an infant, he just got born. And he's like, well, he has a condition and it's a chromosomal condition and he's not going to be able to eat, develop, think, walk, talk. So of course you're holding this, right? So imagine the power of what they just handed over,
Yeah.
this child that is trying to make it in life. And so my husband and I'm like, you know what? Let's help Gregory with getting past this failure to thrive, right?
That's
And
a
so
real diagnosis. Like
I'm
that was
sorry.
a real. That's real
That is a real
failure.
diagnosis. I have it in many, many. So several doctors saw him, 9 doctors total, but it's a real diagnosis. Failure to thrive. It's on the spectrum. It's not autism, but it's not. It's duplication of chromosome 17. Bottom
Okay.
line is the children that have this duplication of chromosome 17, they call it PTLS, Potocki-Lupski, they don't want to eat. And so because they don't want to eat, they have a very strong gag reflex. Then they shut down and you have to feed them somehow. So we put a tube in his belly. But the diagnosis is failure to thrive because they don't know what else to call it other than, it's Potocki-Lupski syndrome, and he's going to have trouble eating, walking, talking. But now, right, fast forward, he's 12, Sandra, he's 12, and he's doing taekwondo, he's doing jujitsu, he does soccer, and at 8, he told me, he goes, Mom, I don't like this belly tube anymore. Can we take it off? That was his mindset in action. That was his mindset saying, Mom, no more. It stings. I don't like it. When I'm doing jujitsu, it leaks. Bottom line is, even at the young age, right? Because we have the power of our mind is super powerful. At that young age, he goes, I don't like this anymore. What do I need to do to get rid of it? He went to the doctor, had a meal plan, and off he went. By the age of 9, it was gone. So it is powerful, right? Our mind is extremely powerful. And whenever we have any type of challenge, like my son being born with special needs, you can find those superpowers and really embrace them and come out strong at the end.
I love that.
Mhm.
Amen. Bless his son. Like that is he has actually the will to
So
thrive.
exactly. I should get back to them and tell them that, right? This failure, because I still have the diagnosis. Of course, we have like binders of, his condition and all that we learn.
Yeah.
We're still learning, right? That's another thing. Um, there's never a finite moment of, okay, we're here. I'm thinking, what else can he do? What else can he achieve, right? I have two, beautiful daughters that are also stretching their limits, studying STEM or fitness. But I look at them blossom and I'm like, wow, here I am. Sometimes, we travel the world and we're busy with our lives and work. And I'm like, am I not there for my girls? Am I not there for my children? And recently, now Brianna is 22 years old. He goes, Mom, don't feel guilty. I learned so much from watching you in action. Because I learned so much from watching you go from China to Malaysia to, Mexico, wherever you were going. I was watching you and I was learning, and I'm much stronger for it. I'm like, wow, that warms
Wow.
my heart.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's beautiful to hear that from your kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Hmm.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I mean, like, so see, you even when we believe a thought, like you rub off on your kids.
You
There's
do.
a story that from the book on Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, and he
Yes.
talks about a story about a kid that was born without earlobes. Like he didn't have any earlobes. I don't know if you've heard that story.
I've heard it.
And
Mhm.
he thought, the doctors are like, he's, might as well put him in a home. He's never going to walk. He's never going to talk. He's never going to do anything. And that was
Mhm.
it. And then he didn't believe that. And he would whisper near his head, you are amazing. You can hear, you have like all these beautiful affirmational, sayings and inspirations. And the kid hears. And
Mhm.
nobody could explain why. He doesn't even have the mechanisms, like the physical structure, the
Right.
ears, the holes to actually hear. Pero la mente, like he's able to
Poder.
hear.
I know.
Yeah, because of
Mhm.
programming, because of.
Absolutely. It's
Hmm.
how the neurons work. It's how and it's really in all of us, right? I'm using that as an example.
Yes.
But all of us have that. All of us have that inner force telling us that's as much as you can do, or these are your limits, or,
Yeah.
you tried that, you failed 3 times, give it up. I'm
Yeah.
here to tell you, do not listen, because the power of your mind is what it is that you tell it to do in everything, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes we struggle because we're going through challenging times. But once you go through, and whether it's grieving or whatever it is that people go through, um,
Yeah.
once you come out of that, right, it's really focusing on, okay, what's the path forward from here? How do I move on? And you'd be amazed in terms of how powerful your mind will be and where it will take you. At least for
Yeah.
me personally, I've been blessed that it hasn't been easy. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Starting a business is hard. You
Hmm.
have to get out there and get your clients and make sure that you're showing up. But it's so rewarding that your mind just keeps going and going. I'm like, what else can I do to help out the women? What else can I do? So, now we have a branding session coming up saying, hey, I know when I was at work, I wanted to have my headshot. I want to have this. I'm like, well, just put a package together and put that forward. But anyway, so it's amazing the creativity and the innovation that comes out of any of us once we set our minds to it, and once we say, that would be cool to go do, right? And if you love
Yeah.
it, it's not even a job. You're just having so much fun impacting people in a positive way, and good things come out of that.
Yeah, I love that. Because you know what, like often people think, the way I grew up, or I'm broken because I grew up in a broken household and I'm just
Mhm.
limited. And I think intrinsically we all believe and know that
Mhm.
we have more power than we really know what we're able to do with it. I think
Mhm.
intrinsically we have that little light, but it takes another individual to, or something you read, or something that resonates
Right.
for that light to start, that flame to start growing, and believing, and understanding the power of what we're really capable of doing, because we are divine, we are energy, right? So
Right.
energy, we and this is just always makes me like think like, wow, we grew up in a time where this wasn't the case. Like we didn't have enough of this information of what we know
Right.
today
Yes.
back then. So we're like, okay, well, I got to make do with my physicalness of what I have,
Yep.
versus today where we understand, wow, we are emitting energy all of the time. So
Mhm.
the way we feel emits out. People can sense that. So we need to know how to master our energy and master our feelings, and understand that, I impact the rooms that I'm in with the energy that I show up, and vice versa.
Yes.
So people show up and they're in a fixed mindset. You sense that right away, right? And we want to be around other people that have a growth mindset, other people that remind us that,
Mhm.
hold up, yeah, I got some stuff that I haven't tapped into. I'm more powerful and more capable than what I'm really playing at, the level that I'm playing at right now.
Absolutely. And there's nothing, special or grandiose about, what I'm doing or what you're doing, or any. We're all the same, right? We all have passions in life. We all have interest, and we all have skills, and we all love to do certain things. So, but you nailed it. It's a matter of what experiences do we bring, and how do we share that with others to help others achieve their goals and dreams, right? So as
Mhm.
you well know, right, we have our Extraordinary Latinas book coming out. So I'm thrilled. I'm learning a lot about my peers within that book. Woohoo. Um,
Yay.
but at least for me, it's been extremely rewarding to get to know their story and to relate. I'm like, wow, they went
Hmm.
through many of the things that I went through, right? And so
Yeah.
actually, I'll put in a plug that led me to, as I was going through recovery, to write my own book, right? So we have the one chapter that's a summary of the book, which is called Life Beyond the Border, comes out on March 12th. But it's a journey from poverty to passionate purpose. And,
I
and
love it.
and what I wanted to do is not portray the, this is success or this is what you need to do. No, by no means. It's these are the challenges that we had back in Mexico with my grandma and my mom, and they gave birth to their own children, and they would bury their own children because some things would happen and the child did not survive. They didn't have the means to go to a burial. So those are the things that really fulfill us with, like, wow, if grandma did that, why am I whining about this little tiny thing over here, right? So it gives
Yeah.
you that sense of purpose. So it's really going for, hey, many of us, whether it's poverty, whether it's challenging situations, but you go and you pursue your passion and your dreams, and that's your passion and purpose. And once you grab onto that, it's amazing the power of what you can find once you continue to focus on that and develop it, right? Through helping
Yeah.
others, through helping companies, helping people develop their own careers or get their promotions. So that's what the book is about. So I'm hoping that it'll be out there. Please go out there and read it. It comes out on March 12th, a week after our Extraordinary Latinas book, which is on March 6th.
Yeah.
But it's really a way for us to get our story out and inspire others to go pursue their dreams.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And yes, we have our Extraordinary Latinas Volume 3 coming out. That's going to be exciting. But yeah, because everyone has a right to, right? And an obligation to, right? Because life is finite. So we have two options, you're either going to go for it and risk, or play it safe and be miserable. Which path? You got those two options. Which one sounds more intriguing? Staying miserable where you're at, or saying, you know what, I got nothing to lose other than to risk? Because again, life is ebbs and flows. But when you approach life with that gana, with that, like, I'm going to give to life what I want out of life, you're going to return, and people are going to gravitate towards that message, and things and doors will open up for you. Right. Let's touch real quick on the fixed mindset, and how the fixed mindset is it's just not where we want to be.
Yeah. So a lot of that too, and it could be, that some people fall into that trap of, like, I am not good at that, or I am never going to become that, right? I'm here to tell you that if that is indeed what you want to do, you get out there, you get some help. United Latinas, for example, is a phenomenal group that really helps me with speaking, becoming a better speaker, right? I'm like, Sandra, Ileana, I want to be on stage. And so you're helping me become a better speaker. So there is help out there. But people do fall into that trap, I'll call it, of having a fixed mindset. These are my skills. This is what I'm good at, and no more. And I'm like, no, please open up that box, right? Open up that box, because there's so much potential in what it is that each of us can do, or what we can learn, right? And there's no way, I never in my mind thought I would be over at Stanford University getting an engineering degree. My school wasn't even approved, right? I don't think we were accredited or approved until like years after I graduated. So I'm like, what am I going to go do out there, Mom? I don't belong, is what I would tell her. Because, Mijita, you're going. So I don't want to hear it. It's a full ride. You're going to go there and you're going to make the best out of it. The best decision she ever made. I'm not going to say that I made it, but I had that fixed mind of, like, Mom, those schools are not for me. And she's like, nope, yep, they sure are. And you're going to go, and, the rest is history. But it is possible to fall into that fixed mindset, right? Like my Spanish, we can relate to that, Sandra, right? We do it here and there. Every once in a while, there's that, Spanish word that comes out, because it's my pasión, it's my, my first language. So if I forget the word in English, I just throw it out there in Spanish. And before I know it, I'm doing that a lot, right? So I remember getting to college and I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you know what? If I shut down and not speak, that fixed mindset takes over me, I'll never be able to do good in school or write good essays or even communicate to my friends and professors. So I had to let go of that. Say, you know what? I do speak Spanglish. I need to learn English and Spanish and keep them straight, but I have to practice. And so my friends helped me practice, right? So I engaged in my growth mindset, saying, how do I do this so that I can speak one or the other, but not a combination? Right? But anyway, so fixed mindset is really calling yourself out on your own limits. And I'm here to tell you there are no limits, as you well know, Sandra.
Right. Amen to that. Yep. And like, on the fixed mindset, like we can't believe that that is the extent of our limits. So many people get stuck on that, like, and even like, I can't pursue these things. I have to wait till, my kids are adults, or I have to wait till a certain time in life, or, the idea that, we have a certain rules, these
Yeah.
structured rules in our
More.
lives that,
Mm-hmm.
and none of that exists.
Mm-hmm.
We are the change that we need to make, and we need to understand that self-awareness part of, first of all, being self-aware and
Yeah.
understanding how do I react to life, and what triggers me, and what's my role, what's
Yeah.
my role in the spaces that I come in, and you know and understanding that whatever your limits are, you can, like, you brought that up, like, you
Yeah.
can learn,
You can
to
learn.
get better at something. You can study it. What stops people is, when we're inundated with so much information, is the okay, well, there's either too much, I don't know what to focus on,
Mm-hmm.
or I've done this a couple times, I've failed, and they stop.
Right.
And what's that drawing, right, that guy is chipping at gold, and it's like 2 feet from gold.
Yeah.
Sometimes we try things and you're like, okay, well, that's it hasn't worked so far, my boy, and then you were just like almost there.
Yes, yes. So never, ever, ever give up. If it's something that is in your heart you want to do, you go after it no matter what. And I guarantee you that, like you just said, right? You were 2 inches away from that big pot of gold, or, that big dream. But even if, you gain so much from growing through there, that once you get there, you'll get past those 2 inches, right? You'll get past those 2 inches and then some. I'm sure you realize that too, right? Of like, oh wow, I didn't know that was possible, right? So it's amazing what it is that once you challenge your mind to go do something that you've set your mind to, it's amazing what accomplishments you can make, right? I've been speaking on stages now with, a couple hundred people, 500 people. At first, you put me up there with a mic, and I would be like, oh, what am I going to tell them? And now, just last week, right, I was speaking to 200 business owners about profitability and productivity. They're business owners, so that's what they wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And standing ovation, I'm like, oh my God, it really added value to what they can do with their teams back at work or back with their businesses.
That's
So it's
good.
really rewarding. So our message is really, don't limit yourself, right? Why limit yourself when you have so much talent to share with other people, right? To help them explore what their passions in life are, and then obviously help them to pursue them.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't have people around you that are cheering you on or are empowering you, join our community and join our Mighty Hub. The link is right below us.
Right here.
UnitedLatinas.mn.co. Join that space in there. It's free to join and get in there and connect with other Latinas in your area, across the country, some, across the world. Um, and find people that are going to be, that have that same mindset, because we are who we hang around with,
Yeah,
right? So if you
yeah,
have a community of people that are limiting, right? Because I always used to tell this story, especially within the Latino community, family, because they want you to be safe. And I think maybe we're all guilty of this in some way or another. Like, for our children, it's like, hey, go get a good job, be safe, play safe, right?
hmm,
Versus go out there and be the person that you're going to be. Go out
right,
there and live the passions that are in your heart. Go, whatever it is,
right.
and I don't think, like, our generation really had that flexibility. When we were growing up, right? Like, at that,
Yeah.
we were like, okay, play safe. Okay, all right, we got to play safe. I got to
Hmm.
get a good government job somewhere.
Yes, yes.
Um, and some of us rebelled against that idea.
Yeah, absolutely. You and I both, right? But I just had that conversation with my mom. I was like, "Hijita, you're out there traveling the world. You just went to Dubai. You went to Barcelona." He goes, "Pero no trabajas." I'm like, "Mom, I am working, right? What I'm doing is my new job, and I'm loving it." But in their mind is, you have to be in that office. You have to be there
Yeah.
from 8 to 5, do your thing, because
Mhm.
that's how they grew up, right? That's what was instilled. Actually, that's what's instilled in school today, Sandra. That's what they
Yeah.
tell us, right? That's the only way. And I'm not saying that's a bad way. That is a good way. And if that's what
Yeah.
you enjoy doing and you want to become an executive in corporate world, I did that. It was extremely satisfying. I loved it. Um, but then I was like, you know what? I've done well in this corporate space. What if? What if I venture on my own? Now, a little bit of fear kicks in, of course, right? But I
Yeah.
had to get past that fear. And for me, it was when the job offers came in that I turned down. I'm like, my goodness, I'm going to say no to a very nice salary that could be steady to zero,
Yes.
right? To nothing when you get started because you have to build it.
Yep.
But it's satisfying, and before you know it, I don't even focus on what comes in from a financial standpoint. I just focus on how many people do I touch, how many lives do I impact, and somehow my husband counts whatever rolls in, right? But that's up to him. But I'm just enjoying coaching, whether it's business leaders or other
Yeah.
women leaders that want to get into a high tech executive role like I had, or want to get into college, or want to get a big promotion. I'm here to tell you that any of that is possible, right? So I was able to go through those. I had my mentors that helped me, like you say, Sandra. It's not none of this is accomplished alone, right? You've had your set of resources and help. I've had my own. They still cheer me on. They're like, "Wow, I love what you're doing. Can you help with this or that?" So there is help out there, and there's a support network like our group here, right? Like United Latinas, which is an amazing group, really making sure that all of our Latina women leaders are thriving and doing what they love, and obviously getting their voices heard.
Yes, 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 because we are the change makers. If you're watching this, we the Latinas are the change makers. We are this we have such space for like knowledge of multiple cultures, and
Mm-hmm.
we are the community that
Yep.
really is that is obligated and responsible. Let's use those words. We're obligated and responsible to make
Yes.
the change that we want to see in this world, and we could only do it when we are, number one, we have a group of people of like-minded individuals that are as hungry,
Yes.
as entrepreneurial spirited. Because si tú tienes, again, gente that aren't on that space, or friends that
Mm-hmm.
aren't in that space, you are gonna start thinking, all right, this space that is comfortable ish,
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Yep.
stay here, pero me quedo miserable,
Right.
versus, you know what? No, I have a responsibility in this life as an energetic divine being to
Yes.
use that power in some
Yes.
way. And the more of us that can tap into and harness that power and understand that it is our obligation to go out there in the world, regardless of the circumstance. Again, I always talk about the ebbs and flows, right? Because we got highs, we got lows. No te queda abajo though. Don't stay
Mm-mm.
in the low. Know that even in the seasons when you're at your low, know
Mm-hmm.
and plan and strategize for that high. What do I got to do
Mm-hmm.
now? What's my next move? What's my next game plan to get myself to where I need to be mentally, so that I can go out there in the world and show up energetically, so that
Yep.
I attract to myself those opportunities that I need. I attract to myself those, relationships and network that I need to
Yep.
become, and poco a poco. It's not an overnight thing. It's a continuous journey until we die, right?
Yes.
If we're
Mm-hmm.
not daring, ¿pa qué es vida? Right?
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And something that you mentioned there, right? In terms of the challenging situations, they will be there, right? So if you think it's going to be a smooth cruising, no, to
Yeah,
whatever path you choose. But I'm here to say it's whenever you do have those adverse moments, right? Embrace them, embrace the resilience because you are growing, right? And someone once told me, goes, it's not for nothing and it's not forever, right? So if you're going through a divorce, you're going through something, right? Embrace it, learn from it, and the choices that you make after you get past that moment is what's going to make you extra strong, right? So it's not for nothing and it's not forever. It's going to
I
go
love
through a
that.
few slumps, but after you come out of it, you're super strong, and then you follow and pursue your passions and really make things happen. So, and the support is out there, like you say, right? We're here to help connect. Obviously, we want our Latina voices heard and make sure that we're trailblazing the path for others to follow, right? We want to like chip away at it so that it's easier for those that are, coming after us. Like in my book, I'm like, it's going to be hard, but once you set your mind to it and you get past that, I found myself welcoming those adverse situations. I'm like, wow, I was blessed with a special son. What next? And thank you, Lord, for putting him here because he's a reminder of like, never give up, keep on going, right?
Yeah,
Um, and so there's many of those stories that they're included in the book of, hey, life was not easy. No one
yeah,
tells you it's going to be easy,
yeah,
but we are here to encourage each other, to cheer each other, because we can accomplish anything. So
yeah,
please, please, please blaze those trails for others to follow you.
yeah. Test your own power. Test your own like abilities, and just keep doing it. I love it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, so we are a little bit over time, but I want to. Can you give us like a wrap up? Let us give us like a little summary so we can wrap up and let us know any last thoughts or things that you want to add
My
to this
last
conversation.
thoughts is really that embrace resilience, learn from it, and use the power of your mindset to move forward. That's
Mm.
what I want to leave you with.
Amen to that. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Griselda. This has been an enlightening conversation. I'm sure it's
Mhm.
blessed a lot of people. Sally wrote, vamos con todo. Let's do it, Sally. We got to get you on Cafecito, Sally.
Yeah.
So we'll plan for that. But thank you so much, Griselda, for
Thank
joining
you
me
for
for
having me, Sandra.
Cafecito.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much. Appreciate it.
You got it. Take care, guys, and join us next
Bye.
week. And again, if you are not a member of the Mighty Hub, make sure that you join us in the Mighty Hub. The link is below. And we will see you there, and we'll see you next week for Cafecito. Take care,
See you
guys,
next time.
and be well.